We're back. Part 2.
Yeah.
Of
Part 2?
That's a 1.
Oh.
Let's get that
Take
right
1,
first.
Part 2. Hot Shots Part 2. You gotta see that.
No.
Why?
I don't know. We left you all with our anniversary.
Yep.
So now
and we said this time we was going to talk about our great Thanksgiving debacle.
Yes, it really was a debacle. Where do we even start with this debacle?
I just want to
Should we start by spelling debacle?
No, I don't even want to try. That's like 2 languages that I have no idea how to spell that.
But
that's in between.
It kind of sounds like gibberish.
Exactly.
But you're good at gibberish.
I'm not good at spelling gibberish. I'm just good at gibbering gibberish. So.
Well, we start with me planning again.
Much planning.
Me and my planning.
So much planning.
Yeah. So let's start by saying that last year we went up to see my parents at Christmas time. Mm-hmm. And that was my first time seeing them since getting married. It was like 4 months, September to Christmas, 4 months or so. And my mom said, don't you dare
come back.
Don't you dare come up here for Christmas. She is always worried about, the weather and us getting caught in bad weather and stuff like that. And
she also doesn't want to impose. Because, your mom.
Yes. So
she's going to hit me. So.
We weren't. You need hit.
I like it. That's the point.
So we decided we were not going to go for Christmas, and literally that was it. We just decided we weren't going for Christmas. And then when we came back from our trip to the Gulf Shores, I think it was like a couple weeks later, maybe a couple weeks later.
Yeah.
And I said, well, how about we go up for Thanksgiving then? The weather should still be okay. Mm-hmm. And I actually wanted to surprise my parents and go up.
Yep.
And just go up and walk in the door or roll in the door. Yeah, and surprise them. And because part of the reason I wanted to do that is because my mom is the hardest to surprise, especially when I was living with her, because I'm the world's worst liar. You can tell it on my face.
She doesn't have a poker face very good.
No, but I was good at poker online for that very reason.
Yeah, because you didn't have a camera.
Yeah.
You could turn the camera off and do good.
So I wanted to get over on her this time. And I thought, she can't see my face.
Yeah, exactly. So you could.
So let's do this. And we had this whole trip planned. And I had told my sister about it because, you've got to tell people what's going on to help, pull it off and everything.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how things happened, but it had to do with posting something on Facebook or something like that, which my mom is not on Facebook. Mm-mm. But it was something about, did I say that we were thinking about going to Pittsburgh or something like that?
I don't know.
It had something to do with that or whatever, but it was in passing that I said it.
Yeah, maybe.
And then my mom called and said something about my niece missing her and stuff like that, and that she wanted to come over and everything. And it got into my head that now she knows about this trip.
Yep. Oh, yeah. You thought you kind of sort of mentioned that you might be coming up there.
Yeah.
But it wasn't it.
Because they weren't going to have
You
Thanksgiving.
read into it yourself more than nobody else is what are you talking about?
Yeah, because, they weren't going to have Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
They weren't having Thanksgiving. It was just going to be them. And then my niece called and was wanting so badly to go for Thanksgiving. So.
And your mom was like,
She was like, no, we're not doing it. We're not having Thanksgiving.
And how do you surprise her if she's not going to have Thanksgiving?
Right. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Did my niece see?
Because she has Facebook.
She does. And she don't have Facebook. She has Instagram, but I had posted there too.
Yeah.
And, or I thought maybe my brother had seen it and this and that. And I'm talking to my sister about this. And it just went downhill.
In a hurry.
Downhill in a hurry. And it turned out that I ended up having to tell my mom because my sister is like, it wouldn't really be a good idea to surprise them anyways. My dad is really not in good health. And, he struggles with some things. And so surprising is just not a good idea. Mm-hmm. So we ended up telling her. And she tried to make us not come, but at the same time, she was like so happy we were coming.
Mm-hmm.
And I had not brought a couple of things from home that I wanted, you know.
And then she kept piling on.
And so my sister would go over and help her like get all this stuff together, and was waiting for us to come up there to be able to bring it home. And me in plan mode, you know, had all these people that we were gonna see, and things that we were gonna do, places we were gonna go.
You had to trip to every half hour on the itinerary.
No, I didn't.
All I knew is I was driving.
Yeah.
I just knew. I just said, you just tell me where to go, what to do, and tell me which kind of pants I got to put on. So.
That's what you're best at. We also had a photo shoot.
You planned 1,000 things because you wanted to make everything perfect and special.
Yeah.
And put 10 times more pressure on you than you should have.
Yeah, but I hadn't had a photo shoot in a while with Alex, who I work for, and he really wanted to do it, and things, without going into too much detail, just fell apart.
Yeah, everything from what is it?
Not finding the right
Amazon.
outfits.
Yeah, Amazon doesn't. You can't find anything on Amazon, especially for Sasquatches, or in time.
In time,
because
what
now
happened.
Prime is not like 3-day Prime. Prime's more like 12-day Prime.
It's not, and they also lie to you on there, and they say we'll be here this day, and then when you put it in your cart, it's like, no, they'll be here
3 weeks later, maybe.
So things just fell apart, and we decided not to do the photo shoot. And like Michael said, I had just put a whole lot of pressure on myself, and so
we had the plans all planned out.
Yeah.
I mean, after that, things smoothed back out, and we thought, all right, we got it. We're gonna make it, and all that. And another thing, also because we was going to meet very special people.
Oh yeah.
So
that's right.
Another thing about our whole situation is the fact that we had struggled to find a PCAs, and anybody that has a situation like ours knows how hard it is. It's hard for somebody to be a PCA. It's hard to find PCAs. It's hard to do that kind of stuff.
And then there's also a lot of turnover, a lot of time with that kind of a job.
A lot of that people get burnt out. It's a lot of. I mean, it's hard work. I mean, unless you find somebody that's, you end up being good friends with. It's like any job.
Not everybody is made for this job. We'll just put it that way.
Right. So, and we had some, and we had we had to get new ones, and that was a whole debacle. We had a lot of. We actually had one that was really nice. It worked out really great, and then she had one day she came to work, and you fell in love with her.
I did.
And actually, we're still friends, still great friends with her, and she did an amazing job that day. And was it the next day, or was it the day after?
So she had come on a Friday, and so I wasn't going to see her again until Monday.
Yeah.
And
it was Saturday or Sunday when you got the phone call.
Yeah, that weekend.
Her husband had gotten really bad car wreck. So she went from having her husband had a good job, and she was working as getting a part-time kind of job, and it went from that to like her having to take care of her husband. So we finally had somebody, and then we didn't have somebody, and that's one, and then another, she got sick.
Yeah, we had went through a whole lot, and through that time, we had some pretty amazing people step in to help, Like we knew that they weren't going to be able to stay, but they were just here helping out until I could find somebody. And a lot of times, they weren't certified in that moment.
Yep, but they helped out, and they did wonderful. And in the middle of that is when we met Darren and them.
Yeah, so let me go back a little bit and say that before I moved down here, I had been praying a lot about God sending the right people into our lives. I had wanted to be intentional about how I lived my life down here and sharing Christ with people, and also having those kinds of friends to, that we could share that with as well. And friends that Michael and I could have as a couple. And so when all of this happened, that we were looking for a PCA, Darren and Suzanne came along.
Yeah.
and he had just messaged us saying, hey, we really know what you guys are going through because we've gone through it as well. And he sent us a picture of them on their wedding day. And
his caption said, if you want to see what your
life will look like in 29 years.
Yeah, 29 years.
Take a look at this.
And it was a picture of them on their wedding day, and she was born without arms and legs. It was like,
and Darren,
holy cow.
Darren was born with arms and legs.
Yeah. So
it's kind of familiar.
Yeah. So we hit it off, and we've been talking for months at that point.
Not only did we make friends in that aspect, but they both love Jesus as well. And so,
yes.
and I love that because then Michael had someone to go to who had been in that situation, who was going to give him the right kind of advice if he needs it, and not worldly advice, in my opinion.
Right.
You know, and that's what we've been looking for. And only problem was,
yeah.
He heard me praying, but I
wasn't specific.
I didn't specify that I wanted them to live here.
Right.
And it turns out that they live in Ohio, which is not far from my home.
Yeah.
But just the wrong home.
Well, you was living up there, so that's
what.
I was like, okay, so it's close by, bam, right there, and then you moved here. So things happen.
So part of our trip was that they were like, come stay with us. You don't need a hotel. Stay the night here, and then you can break up your trip a little bit, and then head to your place the next day. And
so we decided to spend the night with them and meet an amazing couple and everything. And
so the night before we left here, I had started to get a bit of a sore throat. I thought it was just the drink that I'd had, because it was like a sparkling water, and and it like burned my throat a little bit, and I was like, wow, that was really strong. That one like scratched my throat a little bit, and it never went away that night. And I'm like, honeybee, I think I'm getting a sore throat. And he's like, don't you say that. Don't you dare be getting sick. And I'm like,
yeah, don't. That's like saying rain on race day. Do not say that the day before the trip.
Yeah. And it was just scratchy. It wasn't a sore throat. It was just scratchy. So I'm like, maybe it was just the sparkling water or whatever. And we get up the next morning. My throat is fine. We decide to make the trip.
And I wanted you to have like a full-on diagnostic test. Are you fine?
Yeah.
Before we drive 10 hours. And she was, she checked herself out. She was like, I feel good. I feel great. Let's go. So she was bouncing off the walls and ready to go. Yeah, and I was like, all right, let's go. And it was such an easy trip.
It was such a beautiful trip.
10 hours, haul and tail. I didn't have to run so hard.
Yeah.
I still run hard because I like to run hard. But
it was a beautiful trip. The sun was shining, and
yeah, we got there and started hanging out with them. And by then we've been up all day.
We were up early that morning to leave.
Hanging out with them, had a good time. We got dinner. They had dinner delivered there, and then you started getting sick.
Yeah, so I'm always cold, and it was chilly. I mean, it's around Thanksgiving, so it was chilly, and I knew it was going to get colder the further north that we went. So I was in a nice like fleece hoodie with a tank top underneath, and then all of a sudden I just got really hot, and I didn't know if it was just because we'd been up so long, and then it just hit me like a ton of bricks, and I had a fever.
Yeah, and you thought you was just tired. Like, I couldn't tell.
I wasn't sure because
my stressed out or the stress of the trip, it all caught up to you, because we'd been up for like 23 hours.
I was in a lot of pain, and sitting in my wheelchair that whole time, my back was hurting, and so that's why I wasn't sure if I was sick or not at first.
We went to bed, and when you got to bed is when you started feeling, or the next morning, when you realized that you was straight up was sick. So we had to tell them, hey, we're in your house, and we're sick, so y'all stay there, and we're going to get ready. And so while we were getting ready and getting ready to go, you called your parents.
Called my mom, because I wasn't sure if I should go home or not at this point.
At that point, we're 5 hours from the house, from your parents' house.
From them. And I kind of like, I don't know, my parents are elderly, and so getting them sick is not okay. But I kind of wanted them to say, just come home anyways and keep your distance for a little bit and until you feel better, and you know, maybe it's a 24-hour bug kind of a thing, and then it'll all be better. And my mom, when I told her, she's like, don't come home. You can't come home. And I was like, okay. And I knew it was the right decision, but it still hurt, you know, and was frustrating.
All that stress of all the planning, everything. And then we're in Darren and his house, and we're trying to make a great impression, and we're like, okay, how do we sneak out of here without getting them sick?
Yeah.
And so I love when I was like, dude, she's sick. I mean, I'm great, she's sick. Y'all say a distance, fumigate the house when we leave. Let's make let's make an exit plan to get out of here.
And he didn't even give me a shower or anything like that.
We were trying to get out of there. We were trying to get out of somebody else's house.
Yeah.
Get to a hotel or something and reboot.
Yeah.
And of course, because Darren is, you know, from Alabama, we like to talk, and we was so excited to be together. We talked and had a blast. So yeah, they were on one side of the kitchen and we were on the other, and we were talking and stuff, and we was trying to go, and they knew we wanted to go, but when you have as much in common as we do in the stories, we're like, we want to talk forever.
Conversation just flowed. Yeah.
We could not break every time one of us wanted to go, but while that was happening, in the meantime,
I am getting bombarded with texts and phone calls from my family.
I started getting bombarded
because I wasn't answering, and finally
we got out of there. Finally, we finally was like, all right, time out. We got to go. So we got out and
called my mom.
Had like 1,000 missed phone calls and
from my
smoke signals and everything else. Because they had like 18 different plans. They didn't plan this and was okay, no plan that.
So I called my mom, and she's like, we thought you were on the road already and we didn't want you to go anywhere. She's like, we've got a plan.
Yeah.
And she's like, how about you get a hotel nearby where you are, gather yourself, spend the night, see if you feel better the next day. Even if you have to stay 2 days and until you feel better, and then come back. And we were like, okay, you know, my sister and her husband paid for the hotel, which was amazing.
Yeah, that was such amazing they did that. And it was to be if you was a 24-hour bug, that's what we were hoping.
Right. And so we were like, all right, do that. And then in the meantime, like, we went to Walgreens. You weren't sure if you were like starting to catch a little something or not.
Yep.
So we loaded up on.
You know, we stayed at Darren and stuff. I didn't sleep very well because, I mean, they had a nice house, but they didn't have a large bed. How often do you expect a Sasquatch to sleep at your house? So it was a very tiny bed, and I'm like, I've been all over her. I'm going to get sick, and if I get sick, who's driving us home? You know, it's going to get expensive in a hurry.
So I said, we'll spend one night. Because I said Michael will know by morning if he's getting sick or not. But we stopped at a Walgreens
and we stockpiled on all the meds,
and some meds and vitamins and stuff
Gatorade
like that.
And water, and then we went to the hotel. It ended up being a Hilton.
Yeah, somehow we got an amazing deal
on a Hilton hotel,
and it was beautiful. And so that allowed us some extra room to relax, and we went, and I was starting to feel better.
Yep, you was. So we decided,
and I was so happy, and I'm like, yes, thank you, Jesus. We're gonna get some rest tonight, and tomorrow we'll get to go see my family. And they had a restaurant at the Hilton,
a little fancy kind of restaurant.
So we thought, all right, we'll go and we'll place an order and we'll bring it back to our room and relax on the bed.
And ended up staying there.
You had to stay there.
Yeah.
They were like, no, this is a sit-down restaurant. You stay here. And I'm like, oh, man.
And she was not dressed for the occasion.
No, because I still hadn't had a shower. I looked horrible because I felt horrible.
Yep.
And
you had enough. You got a wave of energy, and we had pizza.
Yeah. We had pizza.
And you felt great. And then we went to bed.
Mm-hmm. And the next morning, I was completely down for the count again. And I'm like,
all right, we got to pull the plug. We got to go.
Yeah, because time was ticking on you as well.
I was like, time's ticking. I got to go. And I said, look, your mom was like, will you drive as far as you can and stuff? And I'm like, I'm going to
spend the night somewhere.
My goal is to pull into our doorstep before we stop. I was like, and I told her, I was like, okay, look, I pulled out the map. I was like, look, we call these different places. I was like, you call when we get to this area on the trip. You got different towns to pass through. I said, okay, we get to Bowling Green, or we get to Jackson, Tennessee, or Nashville, or something like that. We have always stopped so we can stop at a hotel.
See how I'm feeling.
See how you're feeling. Reevaluate. If you can't make it, we'll pull over. But if you can make it, I am headed southbound in a hurry. And so that's what I did. I put it in, as old truckers say, I put it in a big hole and started feeding her the fuel. Headed on south, and
I was a trooper to.
Yeah, stayed all the way back.
I know. So that wasn't 10 hours.
10-hour trip back, because we got up late that day because we was like, it's all shot. So we said we want to get back. That was Monday. When we got back, and said, okay, we'll spend the rest of the week. I had taken, the first 3 days off for Thanksgiving. So we spent all week at the house and goofing off, hanging out together. The whole way home, you was having to make phone calls. Yeah. And you were so sad.
I was.
And I felt so bad, because I had driving on my mind, but she had to make all the phone calls to friends and family, and just it was heartbreaking. And my sister called me and said, I was debating on telling you this or not, but Dad actually cried when you didn't come home. And my dad doesn't cry, really. So that I was okay until that moment. And but then we told my parents on the way, and Mom was like, okay, so I guess we're going to have a Thanksgiving at your house. She was like, no, we'll stop. We'll drop Thanksgiving off at the front door. We're not coming over. Monday we got home. Tuesday you was sick. Wednesday you was sick, and Wednesday you started feeling a little better. Mom called and said, well, we're sick too. So if y'all probably aren't contagious or nothing like that, so y'all can come on over. If y'all are feeling good, I'll fix dinner. So Thursday we went and had Thanksgiving dinner and hung out and had a good time. And I mean, you was at 100%. I probably shouldn't have. I felt worse as the day went on. Yeah, you started. Yeah, you was still tired. Ooh. You got tired at the end of the day. Not just that, but I was battling some kind of it wasn't dizziness and stuff. Yeah, it wasn't that stuff that has been going around for the past 3 years, but it was some kind of a bug of some sort. Yeah. Friday you had to go to the doctor to get a shot. Yep. So I went with you, and we were. I actually got my early Christmas present. I ordered a new rifle. So while we were out, she wanted to go with me so I could go to the doctor, and then I said, well, since we're out, I gotta go like a kid in a candy store. I was like, so I got a new rifle. I need new ammo. So can we go to the gun store? Well, yeah, that wasn't the whole reason we went, though. We were going to meet your parents for the groceries. Yeah, because they had bought us groceries earlier in the week, and then we never drop off. We never got. And so while we were out, we went to the grocery. That's why I went to the gun store while we were out waiting on them. Yep. And they were running late. And so they were like, well, I don't know what you're going to do, while we were waiting. And I said, take me to Hobby Lobby. Yep, so we went to Hobby Lobby. We went to Hobby Lobby. It was down the street. And I think we were going there for a tiny little tree skirt for my small tree that I have at home. That's what you wanted. I was looking. You was trying to be little miss, gotta be cheap, gotta stay frugal. Yeah, but I just have a little tree, and I didn't get to decorate the previous year for Christmas, and so I was gonna bring my little tree out, looking for a little tree skirt that I could have, and I didn't find one. But while we were looking around, I had showed him this beautiful white flocked Christmas tree that I said, this is the tree that I want someday. And he's like, are you buying it? And I said, no. He's like, why not buy it? And I said, no, it's a $700 tree. That's like insane. Insane for a Christmas tree, $700. And I'm like, no, I'm not getting that. Are you kidding me? And then I saw on the tag that it was like way marked down. And I was like, no, that's still too much. That's still too much. And we left without anything. And we met your parents at Academy, which is right next door.
And I was telling his mom all about it. We left, and it was just on me, and I said, take me back.
I was kind of nudging her, like, you know you won't get it. You just get some Christmas.
He was about to pack me up into the van, and I said, no, let's go back into Hobby Lobby. He's like, you're going to get the tree? And I said, yeah, I'm going to get the tree. Because it had hit me that it was Black Friday.
Yeah, and you were so afraid of spending money.
Yeah.
So what did I tell you?
You pulled me aside before we went in, and you said not to worry about the money.
Don't worry about the money. This is your Christmas gift.
And you said
Christmas for a long time really lost its meaning to me. The whole decorations and everything. Growing up, my mom, she loves Christmas, but I've been grown and out of the house for many years, and my late wife, she loved Christmas too, and she was all about the Christmas spirit. Her whole family, like, they decorated everything. Well, when she was killed, I didn't want to have anything to do with any of that stuff. So Christmas was just another day for me.
But it's my favorite.
Something I always wanted. I wanted to have the family and the Christmas dinner and the gift opening. But when you're going through the things I'd been through in my past, it was not there. But I had her. She loved Christmas, and she was trying to not do it because money's tight. And I said, no. I said, you want it, I could see it in your eyes. I said, you go in there and you get that tree, and I want you to turn our place into a Christmas wonderland.
Yeah, winter wonderland.
Winter wonderland, yep.
And I think he was doing that partly because he knew how bad I was struggling, not being home and stuff like that.
That was also on it. I wanted you to have this because this was your first Christmas away from your parents, our first Christmas at our own place. Mm-hmm. So I wanted you to have it on a positive note instead of sad.
I was literally getting sick about going in there to buy that tree, because it was still expensive. Just
I was having to give her the pregame pump up speech. Come on, we can do it.
So we went in and bought it and brought it home.
And ta-da!
That's the tree.
That's the tree.
My friends who are also PCAs,
yeah.
We gained some more throughout that time.
Yeah, they helped make the Winter Wonderland.
Amazing. Took me shopping and stuff,
but that just about wraps the Thanksgiving debacle up. We'll move on to finish the Christmas story up.
Yeah, we should.
We should definitely end this because this has been a very long story of how our Thanksgiving didn't turn out the way we thought it was going to turn out, but in the end it still was amazing because we still had family and faith and all the good stuff. So
we'll keep the Christmas story for part 3.
Yep, because that was another the third big adventure that filled up the last part of our year. Yeah. So and I hope y'all enjoyed the great Thanksgiving debacle.
And until next time, bye guys.
Bye y'all.